Pisces, welcome to Illuminated Tarot. My name is Jenna. I'm here today to do your reading, the final reading of the year for the week of December 25th through the 31st. We're going to take a look at your overall general energy, what you may not see coming, and get some important advice from Spirit as always. But let's first jump right into your oracle messages. This is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus placements. Please only take what resonates. Thank you for tuning in today, sharing this space with me. Thank you, Spirit, for your guidance as always. All right. See what's coming up for you this week, Pisces. Ooh, that one that came out. Happy. Feeling good this week, are we? Ooh, but you've had some chaos and conflict. That did come out kind of sideways, so maybe you're trying to get to a better place. I don't really take reversals. Ooh, truth be told, really looking at the truth of a situation you've been encountering. I do believe there's happiness here, but there's been chaos too and conflict. The good and the bad, right? Deep knowing. Spirit is saying, trust your knowing around this. You see the truth, right? There is a truth that is being told here. Are you hearing it? Okay? Interesting. Let's get into the reading now. Pisces. Hope y'all are doing well. Happy holidays. Ooh, I want to come out. Ooh, talking about love today, Jenna. But there's been some strife. But we're healing it. The Ace of Cups, the Five of Wands, and the Four of Swords for the recent past. Ooh, soul bond. Trying to come back into balance. Ooh, I'm seeing some togetherness. So never fear. I think the hard days, it's looking up. All right. If you're worried about a connection, the Emperor. Empowerment, huh? Opportunity. Page of Swords. Observe what's going on. Right. Getting to the truth. Right. Practicing wise judgment is the challenge. Being wise about this. What you don't see coming. Three of Cups. Celebrate the love. Let's celebrate the love and stabilize the love. Stabilize. This is a new opportunity because you manifested it. Okay, that's enough. You've been waiting for it. No. All right. Okay, let's just stop there. Good Lord. What you don't see coming is that you have been worried about a connection. This could be even a friend in your life that you met as friends, but you had secret feelings for each other. You see the opportunity for this to be a long-term stable commitment. You're deeply invested in this love. A lot of you are willing to open up and share this love with this person. This could be even people opening up to somebody new, but you're been like, I don't know, we're friends. Should we cross the line of friendship? But you were manifesting, I think, from a place of like, I've been waiting for the right opportunity. I think what you don't see coming is that right opportunity might be here, all right, for the holiday. Someone's getting up their courage, right? I think there's been like, this could be like two friends that are secretly in love with each other. If not, it is definitely a soul bond, right? That you are feeling a lot of coming together in the near future. I love to see this, Pisces. It's feeling good. Ooh. We have a card that, ooh, and the Lovers was stuck in here. So this is about making a decision and to maybe go towards somebody. And that, am I going to be strong enough, right? Am I going to be strong enough to open up and maybe take a risk? A lot of you have been working on your own independence, your own businesses, right? You've been maybe in a period of being single, just hanging out with your friends, right? All right. Why is the Emperor here, Spirit? Why is the Emperor here for Pisces? Feeling strong. I'm getting a very strong vibe. Oh, interesting. Didn't expect that. But you're really trying to bounce back, I think, and stabilize after feeling some disappointment. Yeah. I think you still have a lot of desire yet in this connection, but it hasn't come without feeling a bit disappointed. Maybe because someone hasn't been coming forward, right? In the way you had hoped, right? Spirit is guiding you to, as you sit here and regain your sense of self and your strength and your wisdom, right? The Emperor is a very wise person. He's always shown with a white beard. This is not Santa. This is the ruler of their own empire. So I'm talking to somebody who knows how to be strong and also be gentle, right? And to be wise. And I think that you are wise enough to see that whatever loss I've experienced in my life, I'm still willing to look at what not what isn't. It's like the glass half full versus the glass half empty. I'm talking to people who still feel very optimistic despite the loss they've had in their life. And you found very creative ways, I think, to work through that loss and to come back into balance in self. I love seeing that. Very strong energy, Pisces, right out the gate of self-awareness, right? You know how to see the truth, right? But I think you've had a crush, or someone's had a crush, and now it's starting to get the best of both of you. Like there's been some healing work that's need to happen before this love can come together. All right. Opportunity. Yeah, God, there's so much truth here. Pisces. What am I going to do with you all? You've had your eye on somebody for a while, whether you've said anything or they've said anything. You're being guided by fate here. There's something so beautiful about this opportunity, though. We have the Justice, the Ace of Swords, and the Star. Like, it's like this person makes you feel all dreamy. Like you get like, you see stars. It's like I got this Romeo Juliet vibe here that I'm feeling. I definitely feel like you have an opportunity to experience fairness if you're willing to keep learning, right? It's like this I feel is a general the energy that you're carrying, not necessarily for this person, but you're just like, you know what? Bring it, universe. I'm ready for my destiny to unfold. I'm ready to carry the sword of truth with me. I know how to discern what needs to stay and what needs to go. The Justice card is she's often evaluating, right? What serves her and what doesn't, right? She's very, very good at making the right decisions for herself, right? To stay centered on the path of her own destiny, right? Wish fulfillment. I think you've been able to cut away. This card for me lately for December has been about observing self. I think you recognizing how much you trust your ability to make the right decisions, sound decisions for yourself in your career. This could have a lot to do with your career as well, bringing together a team environment. But for most of you, I think this has to do with a connection where you could be working with this person as well. This could be a boss or someone who was an authority figure who you couldn't quite move toward, but there's been a lot of secret feelings that have built up, and maybe in a period of really starting to release those feelings, but some chaos is like, whoa, we have this bond, we have this love, but there's this pause, right? And while it's paused, let's build a friendship, because we can't act on our feelings yet. It's interesting. I feel like you haven't been able to act on your feelings yet for some reason. So interesting. This is a very unique reading. Yeah, and it's been hard because as much as you see the truth and there's so many hidden feelings, like you believe, there's so much belief around this connection in this person, in this love of yours. But there's something that is being held. Someone's holding. The challenge is that there's a lot of emotions that are being held back. When the truth of the matter is, there's such a deep emotion here. We have the Hierophant, the Moon, and the Eight of Swords over the King of Swords. So the wise decision making, that's the challenge here, because someone is like feeling like I got to do the right thing, right? And out of wanting to be the bigger person, it's like there's restriction and unknowns around this connection. It's been very challenging, but it's a soul bond nonetheless that is coming into balance as you build, right? You're collaborating with somebody, and you do feel like successful for even having them in your life. God, this is feels like people who like want to be together but can't be together. Yeah, and it's created almost like this obsession. I think another Page of Swords. I think you're starting to realize how in the past, like, oh, this could really border on obsession for me. And I'm trying to heal that because I don't want to take this into such a fantasy. Like, I need to stick to reality. A lot of you have like this secret crush that's like been this big fantasy. And now you're like, okay, I gotta like turn it down a little bit because this could get out of control in my heart space. Yeah, I believe this has been a bit of a secret obsession. Interesting. This is a fun reading. I don't often get these readings. This is very, very different than your typical reading. Yeah, you're healing that capacity. And I talked about this in Virgo about limerence, where you start creating a fantasy reality that isn't the real reality, and you start living in that space because you can't really act on it in reality. And then you start putting someone up on a pedestal who was never there to begin with, but it's almost like you create so much fantasy around it. We all do it in love. So Spirit is saying they're recognizing you're learning and healing that part of you that wants to create like almost like this obsession around love, because it's easier than actually really going through it, as far as like, I'd rather live in the fantasy, right? Either because you can't have the reality or the reality doesn't match. And this could be vice versa as well. Someone who's doing this to you in their head. They're fantasizing about you. Ultimately, this conflict, all right, I see why you've been obsessed or someone's been obsessed, because we have the Ace of Cups, the Sun, and the Ten of Pentacles. Some of you are working on healing the love and a connection. And it's not about obsession. It's more about all the ways that we're not doing the healing work and the ways we need to grow. So I'm getting two groups here. Someone who's obsessed and secretly crushing, and someone who's in deep inner conflict and turmoil about when to act, right? And the timing. And others of you who are in a connection who you're really just trying to come back into balance and see the truth of this person despite the disappointments along the way, because maybe they get in their ego a lot. But this could be a long-term marriage, and there's just been a lot of restrictions around being wise, right? Around how to handle these issues and resolve them. But that conflict, nonetheless, is you're coming out of this conflict in the recent past you did. And you've done a lot of healing work on self to not go into this obsessive place. There's a lot of collaboration going on and healing around that. Yeah, you feel so divinely guided towards this person. And you see so much new growth in this. I think you've done a lot of healing work, Pisces. I love seeing this. You're doing so much healing work. You have a lot of happiness and fulfillment. But the conflict is around the heart, right? And around all the ways we live in a fantasy. And we obsess over wanting that person to be that person when they're not. So be careful. Some of you are in a commitment where you're trying to make someone fit into what you want them to be. Accept them for who they are, or vice versa. You're dealing with someone who's not accepting you for who you are, right? And they're trying to mold you and shape you into someone who you're not. And it's causing a lot of conflict, okay, in the love. Ultimately, this is someone you deeply, deeply want to stay with. You want to build a long-term life experience with, or you've been with them a long time, and there's a lot of happiness and love here. But overriding it is this need to control and this need to mold and shape, right? I want you to act in this way. And not accepting, hey, I'm my own person here. You know, you're breaking free of feeling a little bit restricted around this, because you both are starting to understand the dynamic and the issues at hand. But for those of you who are crushing on somebody, someone is either has or will or needs to make a move here. The Ace of Wands is, okay, I'm gonna like make that phone call. I'm going to make my feelings known. Someone did that. They took a time out long enough to be like, okay, I'm being guided to at least open up a little bit, and like that olive branch, right? Of just like, hey, can we maybe like meet for a drink after work, or meet for a drink here, or meet up for a cup of coffee? And I do believe that there was some sort of meetup for those of you who were crushing on somebody. What's the Six of Cups in the near future? Oh, I'm telling you what. There is love here being developed, and there's so much truth. This is good. This feels good. I mean, the Six of Cups is clarified by the Wheel of Fortune, the Two of Cups, and the King of Swords. Like, if you've been worried about a connection coming together, you've definitely been working on healing this with another person and just being like, you know what? We've got this chaos that comes up from time to time. Shit gets stirred. But ultimately, we're working on things. I'm trying to regain my footing in myself. I'm trying to establish boundaries. You know what I mean? I've really been working hard on coming into balance. Trying not to live in a fantasy world. I think someone in this bond is dealing with like fantasy versus reality. For a lot of you, this is falling in love, right? With somebody that you feel like a past life soulmate contract with. And this feels like good karma. And out of that bond coming together and deepening, there's so much wisdom. And you're walking away from that conflict that started this bond of perhaps friendship and this forbiddenness, right? And now you're coming back together. But I think that there's something around like most people I'm reading in this Pisces vibe with me here. I do believe that most of you who are with this person, well, no matter how long you've been with them, when you met, there was this high degree of fantasy and some sort of forbidden aspect. Like it was the wrong time. Someone had a leadership role, and it was like you're trying to act on your morals and ethics, There was just this big fantasy world created. And a lot of times that's how love does start, where you fall for the idea of a person before you really actually fall in love with them. And then you're kind of battling those two sides of like, all right, what's real, what isn't. Trying to like deconstruct the fantasy phase, right, is very important for the longevity of this connection. That's why I brought that up. That applies to all of you, okay? Deconstruct the fantasy and live in the reality. Because the reality is, things are coming into balance after a period of like, this is freaking hard, right? There's been a lot of hardness for this to come together because someone is reluctant to open up. We have the Four of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the Ten of Swords. And it's around the ways we control, right, out of fear. And I do believe that as time goes on, you both are going to be working on removing the fear of an ending here and coming back into balance. But there's this stress. I'm telling you, there's so much illusion here. Like, really get clear, all right? Truth be told, all right? There's a potential for a lot of happiness here. But until you remove the illusion of the fantasy, this could cause pain and stress, because underlying this is a friendship, right? But while you were friends, it created a lot of fantasy. Someone is doing this. Look up limerence. I've been picking this up lately in readings, where someone is living from a fantasy point of view of like placing unnecessary expectations on that person to fulfill the fantasy role, right? Because that's what they thought that person was like. And I've done this where I met someone, it was the wrong time, and I had this whole image of them being like this certain way, and it's just going to be beautiful. And then 5 years passed while we were apart, and we were in opposite sides of the country, and it was eating away at us. And then we finally acted on it, and I got into a commitment with this person. And this was when I was younger, and we got together, and I tell you, they were nothing like I had imagined. So this is why I'm bringing this up. Like, be careful, because we can live inside of a fantasy for only so long until the reality smacks us in the face. So be careful with limerence. If you have a propensity to do that, or you're around someone who has a propensity to do that, and they're putting undue expectations on you, showing up in a certain way because of fulfilling a fantasy. Because I do know that all of you started out as friends with this soul contract. It's marked by deep love, okay? But there's also been a lot of pain along the way because there's been restrictions. And now it's like you got to come out of the fantasy world and really, is this just a friendship, right? Are you guys equally suited for each other? Are you compatible? Do you want the same things? Okay? As I am seeing, you're questioning this commitment. You're questioning this person, right? There's been a lot of disappointment because it's not meeting your expectations or vice versa in the energies. There's been an obsession here. That's all I know. An obsessive quality. Illusion versus reality here. Seven of Cups over the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Swords and the Nine of Swords. It's causing stress in someone. It's like something isn't adding up here. Let's get to the heart of the truth, right? And it can be very confusing when we start bonds out and from the state of limerence, because it's just, you're living inside of a world where you've put someone up on a pedestal, or they've put you up on a pedestal, and no one can reach that ideal. So try to bring it back down to earth, to the here and now, and less in your head of imagining this beautiful fantasy, all right? Or obsession, all right? You deserve real here and now love, right? Someone who can accept you for who you are. Wow. Yeah, it's been very hard. I think that you're dropping this burden, right? You have a cycle ending where maybe you are cleaning this aspect up in another. And you're taking a stand, I think, and you're saying, you know what, this doesn't have to be so hard, right? If someone is actively engaging in limerence with you, and this is Limerence, this is being closed up, this patterning, okay? It's hard. If you were, and I've done this with people many times, it's taken a lot of work for me to break out of this habit where you live in this fantasy world. A lot of it's marked by obsessive communication in the beginning, and this you create this whole picture of someone, but they don't match up in the reality. Like, they never can, because you're almost creating like this fantastical persona, right? Who can never live up to that standard, or someone's doing that to you. I can't get clear on who's doing what here, if it's you or them, all right? I'm leaning towards you, hun, because I'm reading for you, and there was obsession here, and you're trying to heal and observe that part of you that does this, okay? So look this up, do some studying. There's a lot of people who talk about it, but I think that you are now realizing I got to stop doing this, where I tend to like maybe obsess over people that are unattainable or unrequited, and then I get with them right after a period of them feeling unattainable, and I make it bigger than it is. And this love bond has that potential, right? What's beautiful about all of this, and I need you to hear this, is that this bond has the potential to break free of that illusion and actually become a beautiful, beautiful experience. But you gotta, like, both of you have to realize that the obsession phase is over now, and now it's time to build a real bond in the here and now, right? And really use your wisdom and the practicality of coming back down to earth after being a little bit obsessed mentally over someone in the love and the experience, okay? Because like I said, what you don't see coming is you've been waiting to manifest, right? This equal give and take in this stable love bond. And I do believe that it's happening, but this is the work you need to do to make it happen, okay? Stay far away from limerence, obsession, okay? And fantasy, right? I love this because we all do this, all of us. And when you start breaking that, you start really coming together in a very healing, healthy connection, okay? So this is what I have for you. Take care.